Question 1. General insurance concepts. Which of the following principles best reflects the obligation of an insurance policyholder to disclose all relevant facts about their insurance risk to the insurer? A. Indemnity. B. Utmost good faith. C. Subrogation. D. Insurable interest. Answer B. Utmost good faith. Explanation. The principle of utmost good faith, also known as uberrimi fide, requires that both the insurer and the insured disclose all material facts that could affect the underwriting of the policy. The insured must provide full and accurate information about the risk to the insurer. Failure to disclose material facts can lead to the voiding of the policy or a denial of claims. This principle ensures transparency and trust in the insurance contract. Indemnity refers to the concept that insurance policies should restore the insured to the same financial position they were in before a loss, but it doesn't address disclosure of risk. C. Subrogation involves the insurer's right to pursue a third party to recover the amount it paid for a loss, but it does not involve the duty of disclosure. D. Insurable interest means the insured must have a financial stake in the insured property or person, but it doesn't relate to the duty to disclose material facts. Question 2. Commercial property insurance scenario. John owns a small manufacturing company and has a commercial property insurance policy that includes coverage for business income losses. His factory suffers a major fire, causing a significant interruption in operations. The fire causes both direct physical damage to the building and machinery as well as loss of income due to business interruption. John wants to ensure that the insurance coverage will compensate him for both property damage and income loss during the period his business is closed for repairs. What type of coverage in his policy would be most relevant to his claim for income loss? A. Equipment breakdown coverage. B. Business income and extra expense coverage. C. Replacement cost coverage. D. Ordinance or law coverage. Answer B. Business income and extra expense coverage. Explanation. The business income and extra expense coverage is designed to cover the loss of income resulting from a covered cause of loss, such as fire, that disrupts the business operations. It compensates the policyholder for the loss of income and additional expenses incurred while the business is closed and under repair. This coverage is critical in helping businesses stay afloat during periods of interruption. Equipment breakdown coverage would cover repairs to machinery and equipment but does not address loss of income due to operational disruption. C. Replacement cost coverage addresses the cost of replacing damaged property but does not cover the business income loss. D. Ordinance or law coverage addresses situations where laws or regulations prevent rebuilding or repairing the property as it was before the loss, but it does not compensate for income loss during business interruption. Question 3. Commercial auto insurance. Which of the following coverage types in a commercial auto policy provides protection for a business vehicle while it is being driven by an employee for personal use outside of work hours? A. Hired auto coverage. B. Non-owned auto coverage. C. Physical damage coverage. D. Uninsured motorist coverage. Answer B. Non-owned auto coverage. Explanation. Non-owned auto coverage provides liability coverage for a vehicle that is not owned by the business but is used for business purposes. This can include an employee's personal vehicle that is used for business tasks. This coverage typically extends to vehicles driven by employees for personal use if they are involved in an accident while performing work-related tasks. This ensures that the business is protected from liability in case the employee causes an accident while driving a personal vehicle for business purposes. The hired auto coverage covers rented or leased vehicles for business use but does not cover personal vehicles driven by employees. C. Physical damage coverage covers damage to a vehicle owned or used by the business but does not specifically cover liability for accidents involving an employee's personal vehicle. D. Uninsured motorist coverage protects the business from accidents caused by other drivers who do not have insurance but does not address the use of personal vehicles for business purposes. Question 4. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following causes of loss forms in a commercial property policy provides the broadest coverage? A. Basic causes of loss form. B. Broad causes of loss form. C. Special causes of loss form. D. Named perils causes of loss form. Answer C. Special causes of loss form. Explanation. The special causes of loss form offers the broadest coverage because it is an all-risk policy, meaning it covers all causes of loss except those specifically excluded in the policy. This form is also known as the open perils form. Under this form, the insurer must prove that the loss was excluded to deny the claim, which gives the insured the benefit of the doubt. The basic causes of loss form is the most limited form, covering only specific perils such as fire, lightning, and windstorm. B. Broad causes of loss form is more inclusive than the basic form, but still excludes some risks, such as vandalism and theft under certain circumstances. D. Named perils causes of loss form lists specific perils covered by the policy, but it does not provide the broad protection found in the special causes form. Question 5. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following is a primary responsibility of an employer under the workers' compensation laws in South Dakota? A. To provide health insurance for employees. B. To provide coverage for employees off-the-job injuries. C. To pay workers' compensation premiums for all employees. D. To conduct background checks on employees. Answer C. To pay workers' compensation premiums for all employees. Explanation. Under South Dakota's workers' compensation laws, employers are required to provide workers' compensation coverage for all employees who are injured or become ill due to their job. This coverage includes medical expenses, disability income, rehabilitation, and death benefits for employees injured on the job. Employers are obligated to pay the premiums for workers' compensation coverage, which varies based on the classification of the work performed. To provide health insurance for employees is not part of workers' compensation requirements, although it may be a company policy. B. To provide coverage for employees off-the-job injuries is not required under workers' compensation laws. Workers' compensation covers work-related injuries. D. To conduct background checks on employees is not a requirement under workers' compensation laws, though it may be part of an employer's hiring practices. Question 6. Commercial General Liability (CGL) insurance. Which of the following is a key distinction between an occurrence policy and a claims-made policy in commercial general liability (CGL) insurance? A. Occurrence policies provide coverage for claims that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is reported. B. Claims-made policies cover claims reported during the policy period, regardless of when the event occurred. C. Occurrence policies only cover claims for bodily injury and property damage. D. Claims-made policies do not have any exclusions for certain types of claims. Answer. B. Claims-made policies cover claims reported during the policy period, regardless of when the event occurred. Explanation. The primary distinction between an occurrence policy and a claims-made policy is the timing of when the claim is reported and when the incident occurs. A claims-made policy covers claims that are reported during the policy period, even if the incident that led to the claim happened before the policy was in effect. This is particularly important for long-tail claims such as professional liability. Occurrence policies provide coverage for claims that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is reported. This is true for occurrence policies, but the question specifically asks about claims-made policies. See, occurrence policies only cover claims for bodily injury and property damage. Occurrence policies can also cover other types of claims, including personal injury and advertising injury. D. Claims-made policies do not have any exclusions for certain types of claims. Claims-made policies may have exclusions, such as for prior acts or known claims. Question 7. Commercial crime insurance. Which of the following types of fraud does a commercial crime policy typically not cover? A. Employee theft. B. Forgery. C. Social engineering fraud. D. Computer fraud. Answer. C. Social engineering fraud. Explanation. While commercial crime policies often cover employee theft, forgery, and computer fraud, social engineering fraud is typically excluded. Social engineering fraud involves manipulation of an employee to gain access to confidential information, usually through phishing or other deceptive means. This type of fraud is often excluded unless an endorsement is added to the policy. A. Employee theft is covered by most commercial crime policies under employee dishonesty coverage. B. Forgery coverage includes financial losses resulting from the alteration or falsification of documents, such as checks or contracts. D. Computer fraud coverage applies to losses from fraudulent activities involving the use of a computer, such as hacking or electronic theft. Question 8. Business Owners Policy BOP. Which of the following endorsements is commonly added to a business owner's policy BOP to cover employee dishonesty? A. Business income endorsement. B. Employee dishonesty endorsement. C. Outdoor property endorsement. D. Hired auto endorsement. Answer. B. Employee dishonesty endorsement. Explanation. The employee dishonesty endorsement is a standard endorsement added to a business owner's policy BOP to provide coverage for losses resulting from dishonest acts by employees such as theft or embezzlement. This endorsement protects the business from financial loss due to fraudulent activities committed by employees. Business income endorsement provides coverage for loss of income due to a covered property loss, not employee dishonesty. C. Outdoor property endorsement provides coverage for property located outdoors, such as signs and fences, but does not cover employee dishonesty. D. Hired auto endorsement extends coverage for hired vehicles, but does not address employee dishonesty. Question 9. Surety bonds and fidelity bonds. Which of the following is the primary function of a fidelity bond in a commercial setting? A. To guarantee the completion of a contract. B. To cover financial losses from employee dishonesty. C. To ensure the business complies with environmental regulations. D. To guarantee payment of a debt. Answer: B. To cover financial losses from employee dishonesty. Explanation: a fidelity bond is a type of employee dishonesty bond that covers losses caused by dishonest acts of employees, such as theft, embezzlement, or fraud. These bonds are used by businesses to protect against financial losses from employees who engage in fraudulent activities. A. To guarantee the completion of a contract describes the function of a performance bond, not a fidelity bond. C. To ensure the business complies with environmental regulations is typically covered by environmental bonds, not fidelity bonds. D. To guarantee payment of a debt is the purpose of a surety bond in a debt context, not a fidelity bond. Question 10. Risk management in commercial insurance. Which of the following risk management strategies involves transferring the financial responsibility of a risk to another party? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk retention. D. Risk transfer. Answer: D. Risk transfer. Explanation: risk transfer involves shifting the financial responsibility of a risk to another party, usually through the purchase of insurance. In this strategy, the insured passes the burden of financial loss to the insurer in exchange for the premium payment. A. Risk avoidance means eliminating the risk entirely by changing business practices, activities, or processes. B. Risk reduction involves taking steps to reduce the likelihood or impact of a risk but does not transfer responsibility to another party. C. Risk retention means assuming the financial responsibility for the risk, either by self-insuring or by accepting the potential for loss. Question 11. Legal and regulatory framework. Which of the following regulatory bodies in South Dakota is responsible for overseeing the licensing and regulation of insurance producers? A. South Dakota State Board of Insurance. B. South Dakota Division of Insurance. C. South Dakota Insurance Producers Association. D. South Dakota Department of Insurance. Answer: B. South Dakota Division of Insurance. Explanation: the South Dakota Division of Insurance is the state regulatory body responsible for overseeing the licensing, regulation, and enforcement of insurance laws in South Dakota. It ensures that insurance companies and producers comply with state laws and regulations. A South Dakota State Board of Insurance is not the correct term for the regulatory body in charge of insurance producer licensing. C. South Dakota Insurance Producers Association is a professional organization for insurance producers, not a regulatory body. D. South Dakota Department of Insurance is a general term and does not specifically refer to the regulatory body that handles insurance matters. Question 12. Commercial auto insurance. Which of the following coverages is typically included in a commercial auto insurance policy under the Standard Business Auto Coverage Form? A. Personal injury protection (PIP). B. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. C. Collision coverage. D. Bodily injury liability coverage for non-employees. Answer: C. Collision coverage. Explanation: collision coverage is a key component of commercial auto insurance that covers physical damage to a vehicle caused by a collision, regardless of fault. This is typically included in a commercial auto policy as an optional coverage, but it is highly recommended for businesses that use vehicles. They Personal injury protection (PIP) is usually not included in standard commercial auto policies, as PIP is more commonly found in personal auto policies. B. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage can be included but is not automatically provided in all commercial auto policies. D. Bodily injury liability coverage for non-employees is generally included in commercial auto policies, but the policy would not cover bodily injury to employees. Workers' compensation insurance would be used for that purpose. Question 13. Business Owner's Policy (BOP). Which of the following is a typical exclusion in a business owner's policy (BOP)? A. Property damage caused by fire. B. Theft of personal property from the premises. C. Loss of income due to a flood. D. Vandalism of business property. Correct answer. C. Loss of income due to a flood. Explanation. A business owner's policy bot provides property and business interruption coverage, but it typically excludes certain types of risks, such as damage from floods. Flood coverage is generally purchased separately, often through the National Flood Insurance Program and FIP. Property damage caused by fire is typically covered by the BOP unless specifically excluded. B. Theft of personal property from the premises is typically covered under the BOP, with some limitations. D. Vandalism of business property is also generally covered by a standard BOP unless a specific exclusion applies. Question 14. Commercial General Liability (CGL) insurance. Which of the following scenarios would be covered under the Commercial General Liability (CGL) policy's personal injury coverage? A. A business's employee suffers a slip and fall injury at work. B. A business is sued for libel due to an ad campaign. C. A business damages a customer's property. D. A business's employee is injured while working in the field. Answer. B. A business is sued for libel due to an ad campaign. Explanation. Personal injury coverage under a Commercial General Liability (CGL) policy includes liability for offences like libel, slander, defamation, and invasion of privacy. It is distinct from bodily injury or property damage liability. A. A business's employee suffers a slip and fall injury at work is covered under workers' compensation insurance, not CGL. C. A business damages a customer's property is typically covered under the property damage liability portion of a CGL policy. D. A business's employee is injured while working in the field is covered under workers' compensation insurance, not CGL. Question 15. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following statements about workers' compensation insurance is true? A. Workers' compensation insurance covers employees only for injuries caused by work-related accidents. B. Workers' compensation insurance provides coverage for employees who engage in intentional self-harm. C. Employers are not required to have workers' compensation insurance in South Dakota. D. Workers' compensation insurance does not cover medical expenses incurred after the employee returns to work. Answer. A. Workers' compensation insurance covers employees only for injuries caused by work-related accidents. Explanation. Workers' compensation insurance provides medical disability and death benefits for employees who are injured on the job. It is designed to cover injuries that occur while performing job-related duties, but does not cover injuries from non-work-related activities or intentional self-harm. B. Workers' compensation insurance provides coverage for employees who engage in intentional self-harm is incorrect, as workers' compensation excludes injuries from intentional acts. C. Employers are not required to have workers' compensation insurance in South Dakota is incorrect. In South Dakota, most employers are required to have workers' compensation insurance. D. Workers' compensation insurance does not cover medical expenses incurred after the employee returns to work is incorrect, as workers' compensation may cover ongoing medical expenses related to the injury even after the employee returns to work. Question 16. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following would be covered by a commercial property policy's business income coverage? A. The cost of repairing damage to a building. B. The wages paid to employees during a temporary shutdown. C. The value of property lost in a fire. D. The replacement cost of stolen office equipment. Answer. B. The wages paid to employees during a temporary shutdown. Explanation. Business income coverage, also known as business interruption insurance, provides coverage for the loss of income and ongoing expenses like employee wages during a covered event that causes a temporary shutdown of the business. A. The cost of repairing damage to a building would be covered by the property damage section of the commercial property policy, not business income coverage. C. The value of property lost in a fire would be covered by the property coverage portion of the policy. D. The replacement cost of stolen office equipment would be covered under property insurance, not business income coverage. Question 17. Commercial crime insurance. Which of the following is typically excluded from a commercial crime insurance policy? A. Employee theft. B. Loss of money from a robbery. C. Fraudulent electronic funds transfer. D. Loss due to government action. Answer. D. Loss due to government action. Explanation. Commercial crime insurance provides coverage for losses from crimes like employee theft, robbery, and fraud. However, losses caused by government actions, such as confiscation or expropriation, are generally excluded from coverage. Employee theft is typically covered under a fidelity bond or employee dishonesty coverage within a crime policy. B. Loss of money from a robbery is generally covered under a crime policy. C. Fraudulent electronic funds transfer is typically covered under computer fraud coverage in a crime policy. Question 18. Surety bonds. What is the primary purpose of a performance bond in a commercial context? A. To guarantee that the contractor will complete the project. B. To cover damages caused by the contractor's negligence. C. To ensure the contractor pays their subcontractors. D. To cover legal fees associated with a breach of contract. Answer A. To guarantee that the contractor will complete the project. Explanation. A performance bond ensures that a contractor will complete a project according to the contract terms. If the contractor defaults, the bond provides financial protection to the project owner, allowing them to hire another contractor to complete the work. B. To cover damages caused by the contractor's negligence is not the primary purpose of a performance bond. Negligence is usually covered by liability insurance. C. To ensure the contractor pays their subcontractors is the role of a payment bond, not a performance bond. D. To cover legal fees associated with a breach of contract is generally not covered by performance bonds. Question 19. Business interruption insurance. Which of the following is an example of a covered event under business interruption insurance? A. Loss of business due to employee illness. B. Loss of business due to a natural disaster. C. Loss of business due to a minor theft. D. Loss of business due to changes in customer demand. Answer B. Loss of business due to a natural disaster. Explanation. Business interruption insurance typically covers lost income when a business is unable to operate due to a covered loss, such as a natural disaster. The policy helps compensate for lost revenue and ongoing expenses like payroll while the business is being restored. A loss of business due to employee illness is generally not covered unless the illness is a result of a covered cause of loss. E. G. A disaster. C. Loss of business due to a minor theft may be covered under a property or crime policy, but minor theft may not trigger business interruption coverage. D. Loss of business due to changes in customer demand is not covered by business interruption insurance as it covers physical damage, not economic or demand-based losses. Question 20. Commercial umbrella insurance. What is the primary function of a commercial umbrella policy? A. To provide coverage for risks not covered by primary policies. B. To increase the limits of liability coverage on primary policies. C. To cover the cost of legal defense in lawsuits. D. To provide health insurance for employees. Answer B. To increase the limits of liability coverage on primary policies. Explanation. A commercial umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage over and above the limits of the primary liability policies, such as general liability, auto or employer's liability. It does not cover risks not covered by primary policies, but it can increase the coverage limits for those risks. A. To provide coverage for risks not covered by primary policies is incorrect. Umbrella insurance provides additional coverage for already covered risks. C. To cover the cost of legal defense in lawsuits is part of the liability coverage but not the primary purpose of an umbrella policy. D. To provide health insurance for employees is unrelated to the purpose of an umbrella policy which focuses on liability coverage. Question 21. Property coverage. Which of the following is NOT typically covered by? A commercial property policy under the cause of loss. Special form, formerly all risk coverage. A. Vandalism. B. Earthquake. C. Theft. D. Water damage from burst pipes. Answer B. Earthquake. Explanation. The cause of loss. Special form covers a wide range of perils, including vandalism, theft, and water damage from burst pipes, unless specifically excluded. However, earthquake damage is typically excluded under this form. Earthquake coverage can be added as a separate endorsement or policy. A. Vandalism is generally covered under the special form. C. Theft is typically covered subject to specific conditions. D. Water damage from burst pipes is usually covered under the special form unless the damage is due to a maintenance issue. Question 22. Commercial General Liability (CGL) insurance. Which of the following is an example of a situation where a commercial general liability (CGL) policy would NOT provide coverage? A. A customer slips and falls in a store. B. A business owner is accused of defamation. C. A business causes damage to a neighboring property. D. A business's employee is injured while working off-site. Answer D. A business's employee is injured while working off-site. Explanation: a CGL policy does not cover injuries to employees. That coverage would be provided by workers' compensation insurance, not by a CGL policy. CGL covers bodily injury, property damage, personal injury such as defamation and advertising injury arising from the business operations, but employee injuries are excluded. A customer slips and falls in a store is covered under CGL's bodily injury provision. B. A business owner is accused of defamation is covered under CGL's personal injury provision. C. A business causes damage to a neighboring property is covered under CGL's property damage provision. Question 23. Crime insurance. Which of the following would typically be covered by a commercial crime policy's employee dishonesty coverage? A. Employee stealing money from a business bank account. B. Employee intentionally misreporting business income to evade taxes. C. Employee being caught in a robbery. D. Employee damaging property while performing duties. Answer A. Employee stealing money from a business bank account. Explanation: employee dishonesty coverage under a commercial crime policy covers losses due to fraudulent acts committed by an employee, such as stealing money, inventory, or property from the business. This coverage is designed to protect the business from financial harm caused by employees' intentional theft or dishonesty. B. Employee intentionally misreporting business income to evade taxes is not typically covered under employee dishonesty. This would fall under different legal or regulatory issues. C. Employee being caught in a robbery would typically be covered under a robbery provision, not employee dishonesty. D. Employee damaging property while performing duties would generally be covered by a commercial general liability CGL policy, not crime insurance. Question 24. Professional liability insurance. Which of the following types of businesses would most likely require a professional liability insurance policy? A. A restaurant. B. A law firm. C. A construction company. D. A retail store. Answer: B. A law firm. Explanation: professional liability insurance, also known as errors and omissions insurance, is designed to cover businesses that provide professional services such as consulting, legal advice, accounting, or other specialized services in case they are sued for mistakes, negligence, or failure to perform their duties. A restaurant would need general liability insurance, not professional liability. C. A construction company would need general liability and contractors' equipment coverage, but not professional liability. D. A retail store would need general liability insurance, not professional liability. Question 25. Commercial auto insurance. Which of the following is typically excluded from a standard commercial auto policy? A. Physical damage to a vehicle. B. Medical expenses for passengers. C. Personal use of the vehicle by an employee. D. Damage to property in the vehicle. Answer: C. Personal use of the vehicle by an employee. Explanation: standard commercial auto insurance generally covers vehicles used for business purposes. However, personal use of the vehicle by an employee when the vehicle is used outside of business operations is typically excluded from coverage unless specifically added to the policy. If physical damage to a vehicle is usually covered by comprehensive or collision coverage under a commercial auto policy. B. Medical expenses for passengers are typically covered under the medical payments coverage of a commercial auto policy. D. Damage to property in the vehicle is covered by the commercial auto policy's property damage provisions. Question 26. Business interruption insurance. Which of the following is typically NOT covered under business interruption insurance? A. Loss of income due to a fire. B. Loss of income due to a power outage. C. Loss of income due to a flood. D. Loss of income due to a terrorist attack. Answer: C. Loss of income due to a flood. Explanation: business interruption insurance covers lost income and ongoing expenses due to a covered event, such as a fire or terrorist attack. However, flood damage is typically excluded and must be covered by a separate flood insurance policy. A loss of income due to a fire is covered by business interruption insurance, assuming the fire is a covered cause of loss. B. Loss of income due to a power outage is often covered depending on the circumstances and whether the outage is caused by a covered event. D. Loss of income due to a terrorist attack could be covered depending on the terms of the policy and whether the event is specifically covered. Question 27. Surety bonds. What is the primary role of the obligee in a surety bond? A. To provide financial backing for the bond. B. To guarantee the completion of a project. C. To request the bond from the principal. D. To benefit from the bond if the principal defaults. Answer: D. To benefit from the bond if the principal defaults. Explanation: in a surety bond, The obligee is the party who benefits from the bond if the principal, the party required to perform an obligation, fails to meet their obligations. The surety company steps in to cover the loss, ensuring the obligee is protected. A. To provide financial backing for the bond is the role of the surety company, not the obligee. B. To guarantee the completion of a project is the role of the principal. C. To request the bond from the principal is typically done by the obligee, but it does not define the role of the obligee. Question 20. Directors and officers DO insurance. Which of the following scenarios would be covered under a directors and officers DO insurance policy? A. A shareholder sues the company for failing to pay dividends. B. A director is personally sued for negligence in making a business decision. C. A director damages company property while driving a company car. D. A director's business is accused of unfair competition. Answer: B. A director is personally sued for negligence in making a business decision. Explanation: Directors and officers DO insurance provides coverage for the personal liability of directors and officers for claims made against them for alleged wrongful acts such as negligence, errors, or omissions in their business decisions. A shareholder sues the company for failing to pay dividends is generally not covered by DO insurance as it pertains to a shareholder dispute. C. A director damages company property while driving a company car would be covered under commercial auto insurance, not DO. D. A director's business is accused of unfair competition would generally fall under other commercial liability policies, not DO insurance. Question 29. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following workers' compensation benefits is typically NOT included in the coverage? A. Medical treatment for work-related injuries. B. Temporary disability benefits for lost wages. C. Permanent disability benefits for long-term impairment. D. Punitive damages for employer negligence. Answer: D. Punitive damages for employer negligence. Explanation: Workers' compensation provides benefits for medical treatment, temporary disability, and permanent disability due to work-related injuries. However, it does not cover punitive damages for employer negligence. Punitive damages are intended to punish the employer and are typically addressed through other legal actions, not workers' compensation. A. Medical treatment for work-related injuries is covered under workers' compensation. B. Temporary disability benefits for lost wages are part of workers' compensation. C. Permanent disability benefits for long-term impairment are also provided under workers' compensation. Question 30. Business Owners Policy BOP. Which of the following is typically NOT included in a business owner's policy BOP? A. General liability coverage. B. Property coverage for business assets. C. Workers' compensation coverage. D. Business interruption coverage. Answer: C. Workers' compensation coverage. Explanation: A business owner's policy BOP combines several types of insurance, such as general liability, property coverage, and business interruption coverage. However, workers' compensation coverage is typically not included and must be purchased separately. A. General liability coverage is included in a BOP. B. Property coverage for business assets is included in a BOP. D. Business interruption coverage is included in a BOP to cover lost income due to covered events.